Hi, welcome to ESL 106. This is our advanced ESL reading class, and the section that you've signed up for is fully asynchronous, which means we have no required class meetings. I'm your teacher this summer. My name is Holly Gray, and I'm an associate professor of English here at PGCC. This is my 9th year at the college, but I've been teaching ESL for over 25 years. The very best way to reach me this summer is via email. My email is here on the screen. It's grayhx@pgcc.edu. If you ever send me an email, and I hope you do, please include online ESL 0106 or ESL 0106 DL02, that's our full class name and number, as part of the subject line. That way I know what class it is and who you are right away. Also, put your full name in the signature of any email that you send me. Again, I'm teaching several classes this summer, so it's the best way for me to know who you are and what it is I can help you with as quickly as possible. Now, anytime you email anyone at the college, you have to use the PGCC OWL mail. That is a requirement for any school-related correspondence. You can also find me in my online office on Thursdays from 11:45 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. So about an hour each Thursday, or you can make an appointment to meet with me. So let me tell you a little bit about our class. Our class runs about 10 weeks, so it's a full summer class. The official first day is Tuesday, May 28th, and it officially ends on August 5th, which is a Monday. Again, as I mentioned, it's an online asynchronous class. There are no required meetings. Each week instead, you have work to do at your own pace. You'll have videos to watch, readings to do in the textbook and online, quizzes and assignments, and discussion board posts. With the exception of the first and the last week, work will become available on Wednesday and be due by the following Tuesday. There's a schedule in our Canvas syllabus tab that you can follow along. So here's our book. You can get the book at the bookstore. You can either order it or go and pick up a copy in person at Largo or sometimes at University Town Center, but it's usually less expensive to get at Amazon. Either way, though, make sure you order a copy that will arrive by the end of the first week of class. So what are we going to be learning in this class? Well, once you've completed this class, you'll be able to identify the main idea of an advanced reading text. You'll be able to locate specific information, again, in an advanced reading text. Infer the meaning of unfamiliar words by using context clues. Use text markers to infer meaning in an advanced reading passage. And use target vocabulary in a meaningful context. While we're learning our new vocab, we'll also be learning a bit about the pronunciation of new words, like how to identify the number of syllables and to figure out the primary word stress in our vocab. So how can you succeed in this class? Well, you need to earn a score of 70% or higher to pass this class, or any ESL class. So you need to keep up with your work. Remember, we don't have course meetings. So you have to keep on top of the schedule and the work that's due on your own. You need to study your vocab every day and do all of the readings. Review the module checklist. Check our calendar. Look for announcements. Make sure you log into Canvas and into our particular class at least once a day. Do all the quizzes and assignments by the due dates. And make sure to ask questions. Again, you can post questions in our class discussion board. You can send me email or you can pop into my office hour to ask me questions. Now, as we're working through this summer, keep in mind that you can get free tutoring at our Writing Center. A lot of what we do in reading class is related to writing, and you can get help with writing summaries or writing topic sentences or identifying main ideas in our Writing Center. Students can get up to 2 half-hour one-on-one sessions for free at the Writing Center. So you just want to visit the library page, which you can reach from our Canvas toolbar for the library resources, and make an appointment with one of the tutors. All right, so how do we grade in this class? Well, we've got 3 unit tests which cover vocabulary, study skills, and reading comprehension. Those tests comprise 40% of our class grade in here. We also have quizzes on vocabulary and the study skills that we learn. That's 15%. We have assignments like discussion board posts, worksheets, Canvas-based exercises that comprise 15%. We have a final exam part 1, which is a short one. It's, again, vocabulary and study skills, and a final summary assignment. These 2 things together are 10% of the final grade. And the last part is final exam part 2, which is 20% of our final grade. So you can see that in here, tests are one of the biggest parts of the grade. Now, when you signed up for the class, you might have noticed that it said that lab is included in our class time. If we were meeting on campus, we'd be going to an actual computer lab together for about 1.25 hours per week. However, we don't meet at all for this class, so the lab is built into our modules. So again, a lot of that coursework that you do, the Canvas-based quizzes and Canvas-based assignments, will count as lab work. Sometimes I'll call it lab work, sometimes I might not, but either way, it's built into it. That's not a separate component of this class. A big part of this class is going to be learning our vocabulary, specifically academic vocab. This is vocab that you'll be using in your majors or in your professional lives. So why do we spend so much time on vocab? Well, studies have shown that the average English native speaker knows about 20,000 words. Once they finish university level, just 4 years of college, students double their vocabulary and know about 40,000 words. Now, non-native speakers, some of you will be non-native speakers, some of you will be just English as an additional language. You've already been using it as a language of education or maybe an official language in your country. But non-native speakers with conversational ability usually know up to 3,000 words. And then as they go past 3,000 words, they're adding more and more specialized vocab. Again, that's our target vocabulary. So academic vocab is the vocab that is used in college or university settings. So we're going to be focusing on using high-frequency words that are considered part of the academic vocabulary. Again, to try to move beyond that 20,000 word to the 40,000 word range. And what you're going to need to do is find ways to learn vocabulary that work for you. You might want to make or use flashcards. And in fact, I've made a lot of flashcards for the vocabulary for this class that you can use online. You may want to write sentences using your new words, especially trying with different parts of speech or different words in the word families. Try out your new vocab in your other classes. And then in your textbook, in Unit 4, so way ahead, you're going to want to look at Skill and Strategy 11. It's about different ways to retain vocabulary. It has some helpful methods as well. Now, in every module, I'll be giving you 1 or more vocabulary charts. And vocabulary charts are going to look similar to the slide that you can see here. On the left, there's a column of the words. Often I'll have them broken into syllables just to help you with the syllabification. These are our key words, and these actually come from the textbook. The part of speech, so whether it's a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb, will be given. The syllable and stress of the word will be indicated with a series of small and large O's. I'll be giving you a definition. I may give you an example or notes, but primarily the example and note column is for you to make your own notes. And then the final column on the right is for related words, what we call word family words. Words that may have a different part of speech, have different word endings, for example, or different prefixes, but words that share the same root. Because if we can learn different words that are related, again, word family words, we get a lot more vocabulary bang for the buck, so to speak. We learn one key word or head word, and then a whole bunch of other words that have the same root. We learn a lot more words more quickly. Now, what is a part of speech? Well, parts of speech are basically the building blocks of a sentence. We have in this class, the most important ones are nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And like I said, we'll be working with words in their word families, words that share a common root. So a noun is a word that is a person, place, or thing. Nouns can be the subject of a sentence, the object of a verb, or the object of a preposition. In fact, we have a couple of types of nouns. We have general nouns, and then we have what are called proper nouns. Proper nouns are the names of the people, places, and things. These are always capitalized when we're writing. All right. Nouns can also be count and non-count. There can be that grammatical layer to the noun, things to keep in mind. Verbs are usually the action in a sentence, but they can also describe the state. Verbs are what have tense and agreement. Okay, adjectives are the words that describe a noun. In English, these usually come before the noun or they come after what we call a linking verb. Adjectives in English do not change. We do not have masculine and feminine adjectives. We do not have singular or plural adjectives like some languages do. All right. And then the last part of speech we'll be focusing on here are the adverbs. Adverbs are words that modify or describe verbs, adjectives, or even other adverbs. So again, when I talk about parts of speech, these are what I mean. And so you may want to review these on your own outside of the 106 context. Okay, here's a little bit of practice for parts of speech. I want you to pause the recording here and read the 9 sentences that I've got. And I want you to try to figure out what the part of speech is for the underlined words. You'll notice that these come in pairs. All right, once you've gone through and identified the parts of speech, you can restart the presentation and check your work. Okay, let's look at these. The community garden can produce a great deal of produce. Well, did you recognize that produce is a verb? And then produce is a noun. And with those, you might notice that they have the same spelling, but they have a different stress pattern. Produce, the verb, is stressed on what we call the second syllable, whereas the noun produce is stressed on the first. The impact of the Tongan volcano was felt thousands of miles away. Once again, we have another noun. Reviewing even 10 minutes a day can greatly impact one's vocabulary. Here we've got a verb. Omicron spreads shockingly fast compared to earlier variants. What does this look like? This is an adverb. All right. It's a little hard for me to write adverb on here, but it is an adverb. Where did my little drawing thing go? Anyway, fast is describing the word spreads. You'll notice that shockingly in front of the word fast is also an adverb. It is an intensifier for the adverb fast. Compare that to number 5. Usain Bolt is a fast runner. Here, fast is an adjective describing the word runner. Number 6. The nursing instructors simulated an emergency triage situation. Here we've got another verb. The simulated images looked real. All right, again, simulated. In number 6, we saw that it is a verb, but in number 7, it is an adjective describing the word images. And then finally, the last 2, Kelly's daughter's teacher has many positive attributes. Here, attribute is a noun. In number 9, however, attribute, spelled the same way but with a different stress pattern, Inez attributes her success to a combination of hard work and luck. Here, it is a verb. So if these were easy for you, great. No problem then with parts of speech. However, if a few of these caught you, not a big deal. There are tons of resources available out there on the internet where you can review and practice parts of speech. Now, I mentioned a couple of times about syllables and stress. Let me just go over these very quickly so you have an idea of what we're talking about. So, syllables could be a word, but it's a part of a word that contains a single vowel sound, not spelling. English spelling is crazy. If we're going to look at syllables, we might notice that, each of these words, they might have more than one vowel in the writing, but listen for vowel sounds. I, one syllable. Rainbow. It's written with 1, 2, 3 different vowels, but it only has 2 syllables, 2 vowel sounds when it's said. Concentrate. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 vowels in the writing, but only 3 vowel sounds when we say it. Eliminate is 4, and then elaboration, of course, is 5. Now, how many syllables are in your name? Think about it. In my name, Holly, I have 2. Now, look around where you are. Can you think of any words with 1, 2, 3, or more syllables? And how can you find out the syllabification of a new word? Well, if it's on one of our vocabulary charts, I may give it to you. You can listen to it. You can also look it up in a good dictionary. A good dictionary will show you how a word is syllabified or broken into syllables. Now, one last thing, word stress. So an important part of being comprehensible to people is being able to say words with the correct stress. If you ever have times when people say, "What did you say? Could you repeat that? What was that word?" It could very well be that you're not using stress in the right place, or maybe your stress isn't long enough or loud enough. For stress in English, you're just taking a word, if it's a one-syllable word, or a syllable of a word, and you're making it longer and louder or more forceful. In English, words of 2 or more syllables always have a stressed syllable. Pleasure, container, identification. We listen for that word stress. If you don't stress a word in the right place, we have a lot of trouble understanding. Again, different dictionaries will show stress in different ways. So whatever your favorite dictionary is, you might want to learn how your dictionary shows syllable stress and word stress. Now, for us in here, we represent or visualize word stress with a series of O's, small and big. You'll notice on words like community or tradition, for the number of syllables, it's just the number of O's, whether they're big or small. Community, 4 syllables. Tradition, 3 syllables. The big O represents the stress syllable. Community, tradition. So these are things you're going to want to keep in mind while you're learning new vocabulary in this class. Again, you could use any good English-only dictionary, but 2 of my favorite online resources are the Longman Online Dictionary. It's really great for showing the syllabification of words. It also has good pronunciation that you can listen to. And then dictionary.com, it's also good because it will show you more easily the word stress. So these 2 tools are pretty good. Also, the Quizlets that I make for you, those are the flashcards. You can listen to a computer-generated voice of the vocabulary, and it can also read to you the definitions of the words. So again, These are probably in my favorite order. Longman, in my opinion, gives the best um, recordings for the words. Not only do they often use native speakers, but they also have a British and an American version. Listen to the American version. You'll note it's different from the British sometimes. All right. Dictionary.com and the Quizlets are, of course, more computer generated. They sound a little more artificial, but they still provide good resources to help you when you're learning your vocabulary.